Official public engagement was in April 1942, meaning she served for more than 960 months, compared with Meghan's 22. In that time, there were more than a dozen instances of Meghan breaking the rules, about one every 2 months, meaning what we're really delving into today is the psychology behind her very conscious, committed rebellion. But what was Meghan trying to say? Who was she trying to say it to? And were all the signs there that Megxit was in the making from the beginning? I think it's important to remember that Meghan Markle was an actress for more than 2 decades before she married Prince Harry. This would have given her a very acute sense of the power of costumes in storytelling. I think this is especially pertinent when you consider the vast majority of her protocol breaches involve clothing. What royals are supposed to wear or not wear given the event they're attending or the time of day the engagement occurs. The phrase "you are what you wear" would have been baked into Meghan's professional DNA, meaning that when she broke royal protocol, it really feels conscious and intentional, that these weren't mistakes, almost as if each breach of etiquette was an individual scene in a larger play that she was not only acting in, but also authoring. Meghan's intent aside, I believe every parent out there would agree with me that the line between a spirited child and a full fat brat is often razor thin. So whether you think Meghan is a free spirit who felt suffocated by the tight constraints of royal protocol, or was simply a spoiled brat.
Hey my darlings, welcome back to Meghan and Harry Tales, your go-to place where truth meets royalty and fairy tales are told our way. Today, we're tearing down yet another Daily Mail smear piece, this time by none other than Richard Eden, who's decided to nitpick Meghan Markle's so-called protocol breaches like we're still living in the 1800s. But here's the truth, this isn't about broken protocol. It's about a broken system that couldn't handle a woman who knew her worth. Meghan didn't break rules, she broke chains, and baby, we are here for it. Critics like Richard Eden paint Meghan as careless with tradition, amplified by relentless headlines. Her actions, closing her own car door, wearing dark nail polish, choosing modern dress, were catalogued as grave offences. Even holding her husband's hand in public was called unprofessional. These simple human acts became public spectacles, symbols of her supposed inability to fit in. The criticism was constant, turning her individuality into a flaw. Speaking out on women's rights and racial equality, causes she championed long before royalty, was now deemed controversial. Her desire to work and advocate was seen as a problem, not a strength. Each so-called breach added to a narrative of her being difficult or unwilling to learn. But was she truly breaking rules, or simply being herself, a capable, modern woman used to autonomy? The standards seemed to shift, magnifying every deviation. For Meghan, ordinary choices became extraordinary controversies. The relentless scrutiny wasn't about etiquette, it was about control. The real issue wasn't protocol, but the discomfort with her difference. Her every move was placed under a microscope, her individuality magnified as a flaw. The criticism was less about tradition, more about enforcing conformity. Meghan's story is a reminder, sometimes the rules are just a cover for something deeper. The so-called breaches reveal more about the system than the individual. In the end, it's not about car doors or nail polish, it's about who gets to define belonging, and who is punished for standing out. The narrative was never really about the rules, it was about power and who gets to wield it. Are royal rules truly so rigid, or are they selectively enforced? Many so-called protocols are just traditions, fluid, evolving, and often unwritten. Closing a car door isn't a written rule, it's habit, not rebellion. Fashion rules have changed over decades. What's modern on one royal is inappropriate on another. The inconsistency is telling. When protocol is used as a weapon, it's not about etiquette, it's about control. The real issue is who the rules are applied to and why. Selective enforcement creates impossible standards. It's not a fair measure of worth, but a tool to exclude. Meghan's actions weren't breaches, they were expressions of self. The backlash reveals the system's discomfort with difference. Protocol becomes a stick, not a guide. It's a way to say your differences aren't welcome here. The rules aren't the problem, their use as barriers is. Authenticity shouldn't be punished. The measure of a person is not in their conformity, but in their character. Meghan's experience echoes that of Princess Diana, another outsider who brought warmth and honesty to the royal family. Diana's natural empathy and openness were seen as threats to the established order. She broke protocol by connecting with people, choosing her own path, and showing vulnerability. The media and institution often criticised her for not fitting the mould. Her popularity was both her power and her undoing. Now consider Kate Middleton. She's praised for her grace and adherence to tradition, yet she too has modernised the role. Her updates are celebrated while Meghan's were condemned. Two women, same family, different responses. Why? Meghan was an outsider in multiple ways, American actress, biracial. Her presence challenged the monarchy's image more deeply. The attacks on protocol were symptoms of a deeper discomfort with change. The contrast is stark. One woman's modernity is celebrated, another's is punished. The difference forces us to ask, who gets to define what's acceptable? The answer reveals the institution's resistance to true diversity. Protocol became a shield for deeper biases. The story isn't just about Meghan or Diana, it's about how systems react to those who don't fit. The lesson change is often met with resistance, especially when it comes from the outside, but it's also where growth begins and where history is made. Protocol in the monarchy isn't just about manners. It's about maintaining order and control. It smooths out differences, demanding conformity to a single standard. When followed perfectly, it erases individuality for the sake of unity. But when someone like Meghan brings authenticity, it's seen as defiance. Her warmth and openness weren't rebellion, they were her nature. In a system that values sameness, authenticity is threatening. The criticism about protocol was a way to pressure her to change, to fit the mould. It's a common tactic shift focus from the system's fairness to the individual's supposed failings. The real story isn't about nail polish or car doors. It's about the right to self-expression within a rigid system. Meghan's values, connection, advocacy, authenticity, clashed with tradition. The rules weren't just enforced, they were used to try to break her spirit. This wasn't about etiquette, it was about power, and the cost of challenging it. The lesson: when rules are used to silence, they reveal the system's true priorities and the courage it takes to resist. Beyond protocol debates, Meghan's real impact was her humanitarian work. She brought a commitment to causes like World Vision and UN Women long before royalty. As a royal, she championed the Hub Community Kitchen and SmartWorks, empowering women directly. Her involvement was hands-on, personal and genuine. She connected with people on a human level, sitting with children, embracing the public. This wasn't performance, it was character. Her values, compassion, empathy, action, resonated with a modern audience. She showed a new way to be royal, less about ceremony, more about connection. These contributions are the real story, often lost in protocol debates. Meghan used her platform for tangible good. Her work aligned with social justice, women's empowerment and community building. She was an active force for positive change. That, more than anything, threatened a system resistant to dynamic energy. The legacy isn't in the controversies, it's in the lives changed. Meghan wasn't just a symbol, she was a catalyst, and that's what truly matters. To Richard Eden's question, who was Meghan trying to prove it to? The answer is simple: no one. Meghan didn't walk into that royal life needing validation. She already knew who she was. A successful actress, humanitarian, advocate and woman of substance. She wasn't trying to prove anything. She was trying to contribute, uplift and represent with grace and dignity. And when the palace, the press and the so-called protectors of tradition chose hostility over harmony, she chose herself, she chose her peace, she chose freedom. And that, my darlings, is the boldest protocol of all. So next time someone like Richard Eden tries to reduce Meghan Markle to a list of outdated protocols, remember this: she didn't break rules, she rewrote the narrative. She didn't fall in line, she rose above. And we are still standing with her. Subscribe, like, and drop it in the comments if you know that Meghan didn't break the royal mold. She shattered it and made space for something far more human. Until next time, I'm your host, Adrian, and this has been Meghan and Harry Tales. Stay woke, stay proud, and stay fabulous.